What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the RPO College Football Podcast. Super excited to get here because we're going to be talking drafts. So I'm super excited to see this, man. And we got my guy, the man, the Mr. Legend, Mr. Ray Roberts. How you doing, Mr. Ray?
I'm good, Jerome. How are you?
I'm good. Obviously, I'm your humble host, Jerome Jones. And let's get right into it because it's draft season. We got the free agency right around the corner. I'm super excited about this because after free agency, we're going to really be able to narrow down what teams are going to be picking what, and it's going to be a lot more obvious and clearer with our mock drafts that we're going to be doing and all this stuff like that. But for now, we're just going to talk strictly prospects. So if you're new here, this is RPO College Football Podcast. We always do the draft around this time during off season, just to have something to talk about, and it's really cool to talk about some good draftees and things like that. I just came back from the Senior Bowl this year, so there's a lot of players that we're gonna be talking from there. Inside the Hatches, we'll be talking to a lot of players that are going to the draft or getting drafted. Interviewing a lot of players. I got a little surprise for you later on, Ray. Somebody you might like us interviewing, but we're gonna keep that in the wraps for now. But right now we're talking running backs. We talked quarterbacks last week, so if you missed that, go back on our YouTube channel and go check that out. That's gonna be on there. And let's talk running backs today, though. The 2022 running back class. We're gonna, like we did last week. We're gonna go from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Obviously, starting with my race 5, my 5, race 4, my 4, and go on from there. Then we're gonna talk some sleepers. Then we're gonna talk some small school guys. We're gonna talk some fits and that deals with teams. So we're gonna start off with that first. Ray, who is your number 5 running back in this class?
Number 5, I have Rashad White from Arizona State. 6'2", 200 pounds. Good, solidly built player. Good power runner with good balance. Solid pass protector, so he could probably do some things 3 downs for you. Not really known as a pass catcher, but is a solid blocker. So, and good, nice contact balance type of a runner. So,
definitely, yeah. I will say this right now. I didn't have him in my top 5 because I was struggling with 5. I actually have a 5A and 5B, so I'm taking a page out of Ray's book with that. But he was like right there. It was 3 guys that I like. One of them you're gonna see why I like them and I have them on my list. But very close guys. So let me just tell you my guy. Like I said, I have 5A and 5B. 5A would be James Cook from UGA, a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. Looks very similar to how his brother plays, and similarity as far as being an elusive running back. And I feel like he's today's running back, and that's what a lot of teams are looking for. Today's running back, guys can catch the ball out of the backfield. You put on the outside as a wide receiver, catch the ball and get up the field. I can testify for that because he destroyed my Michigan's defense not once but twice on deep pass touchdowns. So I can wholeheartedly tell you that he's a guy that he can definitely catch the ball out of the backfield, and a lot of teams are looking for that. It might be a little bit recency bias, so that's why I have him so like at 5, but I think he can be a really reliable running back. My 5B, obviously, you guys already know why. I'm a Michigan fan. You already know. Hassan Haskins. I mean, I don't think a lot of people are going to be behind him like I am, but I think that he has a very good content balance. I think like you hit the guy and he won't go down easily. He got very decent speed for him. I think that is one of the biggest things I want to see in the combine, if it does actually still happen. There's a lot of controversy with that. I think they say it's going to be happening, but that's for another story. But Haskins, I think if he shows that he got some speed, he can definitely get in his top 5 as far as running backs, and I think you're going to get a steal with him that you can get in the 3rd, 4th, maybe even 5th round. Ray, what do you think about my number 5?
I like both your guys. I have one at 6 and one at 7, actually, them 2 guys. But I think that if you have James Cook, he can do some things for you catching the ball, and Haskin is more of a power. Like, to me, he's a 2-down back more than a 3-down back. Yeah. Where I think Cook could be that 3-down back if you really wanted him to, because he could definitely catch the ball.
Yeah.
I would worry about Cook with pass protection, where Haskins, I think, would do a good job as solid as a pass catcher.
100%.
So I think both of those guys will be like complementary backs. They'll be like as the backs are right now. They kind of rotate guys in and out. They'll both be guys that will play on Sunday, but I think if you have them together, you're better off than having one or the other. So
No, I 100%. I think that you're right. I don't think they're guys that you can just be like, oh, they're your number one guy. And if you guys look around the NFL, you're gonna see that there's not a lot of one running back staple guys anymore. It's a lot of running back by committee, playing considering, whatever. The number one rushing team in the league, the Eagles, had a whole bunch of rotation at running back. So that just tells you right there that you don't need the guy. There's always going to be a starter. For us, it's Miles Sanders, but and Drew says Ray. Drew, how you gonna say Ray and you don't say hi to me, sir? And you didn't answer your phone, by the way. But anyway, thanks for being on, Drew. All right, Ray, who we have at your number 4, sir?
I have Isaiah Spiller from Texas A&M.
I like it.
I have him at number 4. I think good combination of power and speed, good solid size, like 6'1", 225. Again, a guy who I think could probably be a 3-down back if we were asked to do so, but a very good football player. So,
no, 100%. I got him on my list. I got him a little bit higher. I'm gonna go number 4, Breece Hall from Iowa State. He's my number 4 guy. I think he had a lesser year, but I think it's because the whole offense in itself wasn't a productive offense like it was in past. But he was probably the one bright spot on that offense, and I think that he's gonna show a lot. He's not. I think he can catch the ball out of the backfield, and I don't think he's the greatest. He's not known for his catching in the backfield, I believe. But I think that he has the capability of doing it. He's probably one of the more balanced running backs in my top 5, honestly. I think, though.
I think that Breece Hall is a very, very good football player. I think that the problem with him is the quarterback doesn't play consistently, so teams load up to stop Breece Hall.
Yeah.
And that kind of hurts you a little bit. So
no, and I agree. Yeah.
I think, like you said, I think he could do things for you as a 3-down back. Again, we don't really see even guys who may be 3-down backs. You don't see them get more than 10 or 15 carries apiece.
Yeah.
So,
No, and I agree. I think I totally agree with that. So we'll definitely see. I mean, like I said, Miles Sanders, my guy, he had. I don't think yet in his career he had more than 15 carries in the game. So that tells you a lot about him, and he's our starter. So you don't need to be the guy all the time to be.
I think it tells you a little bit about the fact that I think the Eagles don't rely on him as much as they could because they're afraid of him getting hurt, and he does get injured a lot. So
definitely. Hey, Mike Belly, thanks for being in the chat room. How are you been, my guy? Missed you. You said Ray, the OG.
No.
Yo, Mike, man, we miss you, man. Good. Thank you for being on with us and checking us out. We do definitely miss you being on here in this chat room, man. Thanks for saying hello, man. Appreciate it. All right, let's get to our number 3. Ray, who you have at number 3?
Now, I'm trying to stay away from doing the 3A, 3B thing and all that. And I'm gonna give you my guy here, but honestly, to me, 1, 2, and 3 are all going to be guys that should be drafted early on, if not day one, because running backs tend to not to be drafted in the first round. They should be second-round picks. So I have Kyra Williams at number 3. I think if you want a guy who can do things out of the passing game and give you good, solid run production, this may be your guy. But I'll have him at 3 because he didn't get the workload that the other 2 guys that I have ahead of him. But again, I think if you want a guy who does everything well, Kyra Williams could be the number 1 back. But right now, I have him at 3.
Very telling on your list. I know where you're going with this. Then I know where you're going with this. My number 3 might be your number 2, Ray. And I'm just gonna say it right here. And I think we have our 2 players swapped. I want to see how this goes, but I think we have our 2-player swap. I got Isaiah Spiller right here at number 3. Sorry, from Texas A&M. I think he's extremely high. I think I really like him a lot. He's, like I said, the same thing I said about James Cook. He's your today's running back, and he was very productive as far as he was basically that Texas A&M's offense for a while. Basically, and holding that team down. I have him at 3 because I had my number 2, which kind of spoiling it right now. But Ray already talked on him. I like him. There's little things that I like about him, just slightly a little bit better. But Isaiah, and kind of like you said, Ray, Isaiah Spiller and my number 2 could be like 2A, 2B kind of thing because they're very close in production, in my opinion. I think Isaiah Spiller might have a little bit more production as far as being featured a little bit more in his offense. But I think Kyra Williams, I just spelled it, but Kyra Williams my number 2. I think he can have I think he has the same skill set. But let's get into our number 2. Before we do that, who is this? This is Remy. He says that Hall and Walker at number top 2. I agree with that. I like Hall a lot. I have him at 4. But I mean, these guys are very close in ranking, in my opinion, right?
All I'm going to say is me and Remy are very on the same page with these guys.
Well,
so, yeah.
Go ahead. Let me get you.
I have Kenneth Walker at number 2. Again, I think that you could interchange Williams and Walker at 2 and 3, depending on what you want out of your running back. If you want a guy who is a good power running, who's a one-cut guy that can get downhill very quickly, you want Kenneth Walker. Not that Kyra Williams can't do that, but doesn't have quite the physicality that Kenneth Walker has. But if you want a guy who just can do the pass blocking and catch the ball, then you want Williams. But I have Kenneth Walker because, again, I think that my 1, 2, and 3 guys could easily be taken definitely in the second round. Honestly, if you are that team, we've talked about this before, if you need a running back and you're picking at the end of the first round, I don't have a problem with you taking that guy because, again, you get that guy for 5 years. And then if you need to, you can move on. Never sign a running back to a big contract, though. Never.
Ray been saying this from day one. I agree with you. I mean, I've been listening to you when you say that, and I think that
yeah, man. As much as I love Christian McCaffrey and as good and as productive as he's been, as soon as they put his name on that big contract, he hasn't played since.
Definitely. Remy says, do you see any running backs going in the first round? Remy, we will definitely get back to your question at the end. That's actually part of our segment, so we'll definitely answer that for you, Remy. So don't hang on, stay tight, make sure you stay tuned in. Before we get to our last 2 guys, remember, guys, if you're checking us out live right now, we got quite a few guys in here. So 1, we do appreciate you being here. 2, if you want to put your name in here and talk live, we are live right now. Any questions or anything like that, you can do it. We are not, if you want to make a donation, you do your thing, but we're not asking for donations. We just want you to be a part of the conversation, and we love responding with you guys. So that'd be great if you could definitely do that with us as well. Like my guy Remy, like my guy Drew, and like my guy Michael. Again, thank you guys for being in here. But anyway, my number 2 guy is Kyra Williams. Right, I'm actually. And Ray, I'm not a Notre Dame guy. You already know that. But since I've been seeing your running back, I've been really high on him all year, and I think he's been very consistent what he's been doing. And when I'm high on a guy, I can stick with them for a while. Kyra Williams is my type of running back. He can, like you said, he can pass catch. He's very solid with the running game. I think you can get the best of both worlds with somebody like him. I actually think he's really good at pass blocking.
He is. He's a very good pass protector.
Yeah, and
it's
I think
great for him. Absolutely
correct. And that's something that's an underlining trait for a running back that people don't always think about. So I like him right there. He's very, very well balanced for me. He's my number 2 guy. He always will have been a guy that I'm very high on. So let's get to our number 1. Right?
I think that the Notre Dame's offensive line was not as good this year, and I think that can hurt him a little bit. So
and exactly, and that Right, and yeah, right. You've been saying that all year too. Y'all offensive line has not been that great, which tells me that he's a better running back
Oh,
than
hey,
he might be. A better
man,
running back, especially with a,
if you get Kyra Williams in space, watch him go, man.
oh yeah,
Watch him go.
100%,
Yep.
100%. So, all right, let's get to our number one, guys. Ray, I already know who you about to pick, but tell the audience who you got.
I got Brees Hall number one.
Yeah,
I think he carried Iowa State's offense this year. Nothing else was working. We always talk about Brock Purdy being up and down all year. I think it really hurts him.
yeah,
And even though they don't ask him to catch the ball, he does have good hands and he can catch the ball. And like I said, I think with all three of my top three, they're 3-down backs. Will they be asked to be three down backs in the NFL? Probably not, because they don't ask that. Again, I think if you want a guy that does both, catch the ball and can run, then you take Brees Hall. If you want a guy who, say Brees Hall is off the board and you want that one cut type runner, then you take Kenneth Walker. If you want a guy who does a little bit of everything really, really well, then you take Kyra Williams.
I agree. Hey, Michael, thank you for giving us the tag and sharing and putting on your Instagram. I really do appreciate that, man. I love the love. So thank you for being in here. He also says when I do you guys go live, we'll try to hop on as many times as going forward. We usually go on Wednesday nights, usually around 7:00 Eastern time. If you can't hop on, that's great. If you can't hop on, that's fine as well. And we always say this. If you can't hop on, you can't get live with your live comments. You definitely go on our YouTube channel. Go put your comments right down there, and we will make sure we answer that as soon as possible. So that's another.
Make sure if you do that, it's great. We appreciate it still, but hit that like button, man. Come on.
Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Thank you, Ray. Thank you. But I'm gonna get to my number one guy, and this might be a little bit of Big Ten bias, but Kenneth Walker. I mean, I was high on Jonathan Taylor, and again, might be just me being in the Big Ten and watching this running back destroy my amazing defense. And Kenneth Walker was that guy. I feel like I don't think he's on the Jonathan Taylor level.
No, I think that Brees Hall. I don't think any of these guys are Jonathan Taylor. I think Brees Hall is that one guy though, that if you give him some space and get him out in the open, he is going to run a 4.4 and probably do some things if he gets through your secondary. I'm a big for one, we talked about this. This is a great draft to need a running back. Absolutely a great draft to need a running back.
I agree, 100%. Yeah, I think and his speed's going to be the thing that's going to be the issue with him. But I think he's going to be. I'm talking about Kenneth Walker, by the way. I think he's a guy that you can't just tackle him with one guy. He's a big, strong guy. He torched and destroyed our offense. I mean, this man was just running up and down the field. I know I'm talking as a Michigan fan, but Kenneth Walker was in Heisman talk for a while until he got injured. So I think I personally think he's the best running back. I think he's good at pass coverage. The only thing, the big downfall with him, I think, is just it didn't ask him to catch.
Yeah, he doesn't. Well, you haven't seen him try to catch the ball, so you don't know if he can do it or not.
Exactly.
But I think if for one, if not to go back to the Dolphins, if the Dolphins don't take a run back in the second round this year, I may have to break my television. But I think if Miami were to take a Kenneth Walker in the second round with their offense, the way it's going to be constructed under Mike McDaniel, this kid could be a playmaker in my offense right now.
So. I agree. Remy said he doesn't have the speed and athleticism of Taylor. And I 100% agree. And I'm not putting him on that same scale because if you give me Jonathan Taylor or Kenneth Walker, give me Kenneth Walker all day. Just come because at least I know he won't destroy us in the passing game too as well. Jonathan Taylor not only can have the speed and athleticism as you're saying, but he's a power runner too.
Like he is.
He's a hitter, and he showed what he can do this year. And
that's why I think the comparison.
I personally drafted him high in fantasy because I had a feeling he was going to do what he did, and he proved me right. Go ahead, Ray. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. I was cutting you off a little bit. I think Brees Hall. I don't think any of these guys are Jonathan Taylor, but Brees Hall is the most comparable. He runs with solid power, great balance, And once you get in the secondary, he could probably run by some guys. So
No, I agree. I did have him at 4, but
yeah, man.
I think that any of these 4 guys, they're very close. In my opinion, at least, I love all 3. It depends.
agree with that.
And I honestly, I think each one depends on which team too can be better, depending on what teams they go. Like you can have a Kenneth Walker, but I don't think Kenneth Walker is going to work in a more spread kind of offense. You can have a Breece Hall in a offense where that's run heavy. I don't think that's going to work better for him. I think Kenneth Walker would be better in that. It all depends on the scheme. It depends on the blocking scheme as well. How each team blocks. So I think you don't have a clear-cut kind of guy that comes in and don't matter what kind of offense you play. I think they're going to be amazing. I think all these guys still going to be good wherever they play. But I think if you give them a specific team, each one of these guys can be a superstar.
I think that scheme fit is always important for most football players, but especially running backs. So
yeah. I agree. So that's our top 5. We're going to get into the running back sleepers. Now, these are guys that might not be talked about that often, and people are maybe sleeping on them, don't know about them. You're gonna be the ones to put light on them. Ray, we'll start with you. Who is your running back sleeper of this year?
I have Damian Pearson from Florida. I think during Senior Bowl, he really stood out, man. He really did. I think, again, he's a guy that could probably do things for you in all three downs. I'm a little surprised that Florida didn't use him more than they did. Maybe, well, I shouldn't be surprised if it is Florida. That's why they're not that good. So I really like Damian Pearson. Again, we talk about how deep of a draft this is. This is a kid that's probably going to go in like the 3rd or 4th round. And if you get him in the 4th round, you're going to get yourself one heck of a football player there. So,
Ray, you hit it on the nail with that one. He's a guy that I seen at the Senior Bowl, and I was surprised by how good he played. Ray,
he was the one guy that really stood out during that week, showed real good balance and really was harder to tackle than you would think. So
Definitely. My guy is going to be a guy out of Philly. I think that he's going to be a running back that's, going to be good. I watched him play at West Virginia, and I love this guy since I've seen him. Levy Brown from West Virginia, a guy that I think people are going to be really sleeping on him, and he's going to be very productive in the NFL. He is, let me get his weight and height. He is 5'11", but 215 right now. I think, obviously he's not going to be the fastest guy. I know that for sure. But he's one of those guys that, like I said, with, some of these other running backs, he's a bigger back, and he's going to be able to run some productive. And I think the bigger running backs are still going to be able to be very productive in the NFL. You see the Derrick Henrys, the Jonathan Taylors, who's kind of a mixed bag of, speed and power. But I think he got good contact balance as well, like I was saying with Hassan Haskins. And I like his patience. How patient he is running. He's a very patient runner. He goes up the hole, and, he don't have a lot of wasted movement, which I like about him. What would you think about Levy?
Yeah, I'm a fan also. Again, I think that his offensive line were a little better. He would have been a little bit better this year too. Yeah. Whenever you see, for people that, if you're evaluating running backs, when you see a running back with his hand on an offensive lineman's back, that's not a good sign. It means the offensive line's not doing their job. So,
100%. Yeah, that means you're getting ahead of your lineman, and you're kind of guiding get over here.
It also shows what you're saying, Jerome. A running back has to be patient. You can't just run up your lineman's back. You have to wait for them to hit that block. But when you see them reach out and they kind of are feeling for the offensive lineman, just let the offensive lineman know, man, push somebody out of my way here,
Yeah. No, 100%. I definitely agree with that. So I like him a lot. I think he's a sleeper. I think he's one of those guys that's going to be really good in a rotational setting for sure. So, All right, let's get to the next category, and we're going to get to our small school guys. Now, these are not necessarily just sleepers. They can be bigger guys, but these are guys from smaller schools. People might not know just because they're at small schools, but have very a lot of production. I already know who I'm going to got because he's been balling all year, but I want to hear what you got, Ray, first.
I have Sincere McCormick from UTSA.
There you go.
He's really probably the best small school running back in this year's draft.
100%.
Good, great contact balance, excellent feet, quick, decisive in what he wants to do behind the line of scrimmage, and able to break tackles. I mean, a very good football player. So,
yeah, same, right? Say, I think he got some elusiveness to him. I think he got some power, he got some explosiveness to him, and his vision is the main thing for me. I mean, I've seen people comparing him to Aaron Jones, which I like that comparison, to be honest. He's a big guy. He's big but small, like, short, but he's a bigger guy. He can, sustain hits. He got good balance, and I think he's gonna run faster than people might think. Honestly, I really do.
I just think, like, if you watch him play, he is like a little pinball, man. Like, he hits and just like moves and just keeps going, man. Again, I'm a huge fan of the running back class this year. And then again, I think there are 15 to 20 running backs that are draftable players in this year's draft. It's going to be really deep. To get back to what Remy said earlier, I don't know if any of these guys will go in the first round. I think anywhere around from 25th on, you could see one or two possibly go. And honestly, like I said, I think if I'll give you three guys that I think could go at the end of the first round: Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, and Kyra Williams. I think all three of them guys. Isaiah Spiller's in the mix too because he did have a really productive year and he's a good football player. Any one of those four guys should go at the end of the first round, especially if you need a running back. And like, again, if you're just gonna use a pick on another player, why not just get that running back that you really want to put behind your line of scrimmage and just let him, run him for them 5 years. This way, if you have him for 5 years, maybe after year 3, then you extend his contract to give him 4 years, and then you're done with him after that. Because honestly, once they've given you 5, 6 good years, they're done. Move on.
Yeah, I agree. But I do think, like you said, in the first round, there's usually one, maybe two, depending, at the end of the first round. And like I said before, some of these running backs should be probably second round picks, but they get that fifth year option, which helps with that. Like Ray saying, instead of giving that second contract, you got a fifth year option. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I don't like second contracts for running backs at all, but I think if you remember a couple of years ago, there were Jonathan Taylor, running the Edward Hilaire went first, and I had him fifth. In my running backs that class.
And I agree.
And I think the other guys, DeAndre Swift was better than him. I liked him better. I liked the kid that went Cam Akers. I like Cam Akers a little better than him. And so far, it's shown that. I mean, Cam Akers got hurt this year, but before that, he was playing really good. He had a really good season last year. I just think that sometimes the teams overthink it. But again, man, running back is not as important.
I think it depends on the team and where fit. Like
it does.
I honestly feel Hilaire fit their offense.
I think that they felt like because he had done some nice things as a pass catcher at LSU that they saw some things in him. Anybody who didn't take either Jonathan Taylor or DeAndre Swift that year, to me, made a mistake.
Oh yeah,
I think they were clearly, to me, the best two running backs in the draft.
Oh, I agree. So,
I mean, I just don't know what – I think sometimes these teams fall in love with guys because they see highlight films. And the crazy thing is that I don't watch game film. I don't get game film. I look for it. I find what I can. But I use players' tape, like game film, games to evaluate most of my players. I'd rather
you can't evaluate players looking at highlight tapes. I'm sorry.
You can't, Jerome, but I think sometimes these guys that evaluate the players watch too much game film.
Yeah.
My old saying, think long, think wrong, man. Get your opinion, put it in your back pocket, and make your picks. Don't watch the one game where they play bad 20 times. That's just stupid. Okay?
Definitely. All right, let's get to our last segment, and that will be running back fits. Now, this is running backs that you think could fit with this team, and who you think they should be there. So, Ray, obviously, I'm gonna start with your team because I know you want a guy. Number one, your first guy that should be with the Dolphins. Who should be that fit?
I would, like I said, I would take any of the three guys that I spoke with earlier. But if I had to take one, I would take Breece Hall. I think that in a one-cut offense, as a pass catcher, I think Breece Hall could be a special player in my offense. But again, I'm going to say Breece Hall. But with Miami, I could go Kenneth Walker. I go Kyra Williams. I think I will be happy with any one of them three. But if I could take one, I would take Breece Hall.
Definitely. I agree. All right, let's get to our next team. This team had a solid running back, but some people say he's not really a running back. Let's go to the Falcons. They had I'm blanking on his name. I just had it. No. Ooh. But anyway, they had a running back that was productive this year, but they might benefit from having another guy in there. So who would you give the Falcons?
I would go Kyra Williams. I think as a
Cordarrelle Patterson. I'm sorry. It just popped in my head. Good.
Cordarrelle Patterson is a free agent, though.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think he'll re-sign with Atlanta. I don't think he will. I think that he's going to be in Miami, and he's going to be Miami's version of Deebo Samuels. I do. I don't think he is Deebo Samuels. I think he's the guy that I think he may go to Miami and do some of the same type of things that Deebo Samuels did for San Francisco. But I would give them Kyra Williams. I think as a pass protector, anytime you have a statue like Matt Ryan back there, pass protecting is huge. Dumping the ball to him on screens and stuff, I think that would be a great offense for Kyra Williams.
Definitely. No, I agree. I definitely agree. Let's go to our next team. This is my favorite team, the Eagles, obviously. We're only going to have two running backs. We're going to have, it might not be a dire need, but we're going to lose Boston Scott. We're going to lose, oh man, I hate when I blank names. Howard, Justin Howard.
Jordan Howard stinks anyway, dude.
So obviously we're gonna need another guy in the rotation. Gainwell is more like a third down kind of running back. So,
he is. I like Kenneth Gainwell though.
Yeah, and the fact that Miles Sanders always getting injured, I think we're gonna need a running back. Obviously, not gonna be high into the running back pool, but who would you like the Eagles to pick?
Kenneth Walker. I think as a 2-down back for the Eagles, first and second down, then you bring one of them other guys in there as a pass catcher. Yeah. I think that's a nice rotation of backs for the Eagles right there.
Yeah, I'll be ecstatic with that. But I do think that the Eagles is going to need a running back, especially if we're going to keep going with the running game, which I think wholeheartedly we need to. We definitely need to stay with the running game because it was successful. So I think I think we should do like you said, like a bigger back, we could use a Hassan Haskins or. I'm not just saying that because he's from Michigan, but I think a bigger back like a Howard we need somebody in there like that to kind of get that ground and pound kind of deal and have something similar to like what a Ravens offense is with having Jalen Hurts. Go ahead, right?
I think that Kenneth Walker in that offense is a first and second down back, and then you mix in them other guys because I'm a big Kenneth Gainwell fan. I think as a pass catcher, as a situational type player, he could be really good. I think he would go well with Sanders also.
Yeah,
and I just think that like you said, you want that power guy to take Jordan Howard's place. The thing I like about Kenneth Walker is he's powerful, but he's not just powerful. He's a good slasher. He can get in your secondary and make some guys miss, run over some guys, be what Jordan Howard was when he first came into the league.
No, I agree. No, I totally agree. All right, let's get to our next team. This team is, might not need a running back, but I'm hearing some whispers about they getting rid of their running back. So if they do that, New York Giants, hearing some rumors, if they do get rid of the boy Saquad. Who would you pick for them to get to replace him?
I'm going to give them a Damian Pierce. I think Damian
Mm,
Pierce could be a real nice piece to them. And you know what? I don't know. I've been hearing the same thing that they're going to get rid of Saquon Barkley,
yeah.
or are they going to get rid of them? Are they trying to get rid of that contract they signed them to? Because again, I love Saquon Barkley coming out of Penn State, but he has not been the same player since his first year.
No,
Already, it's scary.
I agree. I agree.
I mean,
All right.
part of that could be because their offensive line is not great, though.
Yeah.
So that's always a play. That's why if I were a running back, I would love going to Philadelphia because their offensive line is really good. Tennessee, who don't need a running back, but their offensive line is good. San Francisco's offensive line is good. Go to one of them teams where you know you're going to get blocking because, you know, honestly, if I were a running back, I don't want to be taken in the first round.
No.
I want to be taken in the second round. Hopefully, if I have a good agent who only signed me to a 3-year contract, and then after that third year, if I'm good, I can ask for a bigger contract.
No, and I agree with that, Ray, for sure. All right, let's get to our next team. This I'm gonna say the Texans. I'm gonna ask the Texans because I think they could get a running back. It's not high on their list, obviously, but you know, there's not a lot of teams that need a running back at this point right now because the last couple of drafts been pretty good as far as running backs. But I'm gonna go with the Texans. He's another team that could get another running back just depending on that rotation they got over there. Who would you think would be a good fit for them?
Yeah, I want to give him Zonovan Knight from NC State, a guy who I think is a nice power, balance type kid who doesn't catch the ball a lot, but does have decent hands. I think he's a good player. I think he's an underrated player.
Yeah.
I think we have 15 running backs that are draftable players. And again, I'm really encouraged because if you're a team and you don't have that running back, this is a great year, Miami Dolphins, to go out and get them, okay?
You know what? And Ray, it's funny you saying that because it's like as I'm talking to you, I'm kind of looking at what teams really need a running back. Really, there's not a lot of teams because there's been some good running back play. Some of these teams, I do have maybe one more that can probably really use a running back like a starter, but other than that, there's not a lot of teams that need somebody. Well, actually, maybe two, because I think the next team, their running back going to be a free agent, so we don't know how we're just going to do. But this is, Ray, this is the year that you might be happy to get excited about your running back because this is the year that there's not a lot of teams that's going to get. Other than the Miami Dolphins that need a running back, there's not a lot of teams that's going to be like, we need a running back too. No, it's not. It's really only you guys. So
the hope is that Miami addresses their offensive line issues in free agency. That's what I'm hoping. Maybe they sign at least 2, if not 3 offensive linemen, 1 tackle, 1 interior guy, maybe 2 tackles and an interior guy. That is my hope. And then you draft the wide receiver you need, running back you need, another edge guy that you need in the draft, and use the draft to fill those needs. But again, I'm not glad that they waited because I wanted them to take Jonathan Taylor at the end of the first round 3 years ago. And I'm still a little upset that they didn't. Yeah. That first round 3 years ago, and I still hold out hope for Tua. But, man, that first round 3 years ago was swing and miss on way too much for me. I'm not going to talk and get into the Miami moving, making a move for the coach. I would have fired my GM, and people would have went crazy because people think Chris Greer is a good guy, and he's a nice, knowledgeable football guy. My only problem with him is now I'm hearing the coach was demanding this. And the coach is the coach. You buy the groceries. The coach cooks them. Period. Okay? Period.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, then you can't do your job.
Yeah.
All right?
No, I agree.
People might hate me, but they would be like, man, that Ray is strong in his convictions. And he said it because he said it. It's none of this, oh, well, no. If I tell you 3 years later, I'm going to tell you where I missed. And I'm going to tell you where I hit. You don't have to worry about me pointing the finger at anyone else.
Right. I will give you credit for that. I will definitely give you credit. We've been doing this RPO podcast for about 3 years, right? And we've been doing some podcasting a little bit before that and things like that. Maybe 4 years, right? I think RPO is like 4 years old. That's crazy.
I think it is. I think it's our fourth season.
Crazy.
Yes.
But to say that, like, you know, there's times where I can recall a lot of the things that you say because you're so consistent with what you're saying. I give you that, and you know, we joke around and stuff like that, and I might, you know, bring out the receipts and be like, hey, Ray, you said this, but like you'll always like own up to it and things like that. So I definitely give you credit for that, Ray. You are the man, the myth, the legend. For sure. All right, so last two teams, obviously, I'm gonna pick. This is a team that might not have their running back, and their running back this year, he's in free agency. He had a very productive year, actually. I think he had something ridiculous, like 12 to 15 touchdowns, something dumb. But Arizona Cardinals, they had James why am I blanking on his name? James Conner. James Conner. Yeah. Incredible this year. I believe he's a free agent this year. He had a 1-year contract with the Cardinals. So if they're not able to re-sign him for whatever reason, who would be a good fit for them?
I'm going to go Rachaad White from Arizona State. Good contact to balance guy. He could be a James Conner type of a player. Yeah. And anybody who signs James Conner this year, remember this. In Pittsburgh, hurt, good, hurt, good. Good, hurt. Don't touch him, all right? Remember I said it, all right? Don't touch him.
Ray, you're right. I mean, I wouldn't give him a big contract. I mean,
if you can bring him in and sign him to a minimal contract and tell him you're going to give him 10 carries a game, he's not going to want to do that. But if you can convince him. But honestly, Jerome, I wouldn't touch him. He had a good year this year. I will bet money that he's hurt half the year next year. I'll bet money on it.
The good thing about him is that he's still pretty young. He's only 26.
Yeah. There are a lot of 26-year-old running backs that never played again.
Yeah. No, you're
Todd
right.
Gurley was the best running back in the league for 3 years. And then hit a wall. And he hit a wall so hard, he was like that fly that hit the windshield. Okay, man. Done.
Hey, Le'Veon Bell, man.
Le'Veon Bell. I mean, well, you know what? He did it to himself, though. He talked himself out of Pittsburgh. He did. He didn't play football for a year or so, and then he went to the Jets. Boy, that was smart. Good move.
Yeah, James Conner had a total of 15 touchdowns this year. So
he had a very good year. I had him in one of my other fantasy leagues. He was my second back. Yeah. And he was really good for me. Mm-hmm. But again, good, hurt, good, hurt, good, hurt. That's his career. Next year's the hurt season. Don't touch him.
Hey, if there's a pattern, there's definitely a pattern. So, all right, last team real quick is going to be the Buffalo Bills. They could definitely – I mean, I again, two guys that we interviewed, Buffalo Bills got both their running backs, and Devin Moss and Devin Singletary. Two, I think, really good running backs, productive running backs that you can – if they're featured enough, I think they can do their thing. But they might need a guy, and number one guy. I don't think they have that right now. I'm not sure if Devin Singletary is really that guy. So, Ray, give him a guy.
I got Isaiah Spiller. I think that Isaiah Spiller in Buffalo, where you get Zach Moss and Devin Singletary as complimentary guys. You give them all 10, 15 carries each game until you figure out who has the hot end. I think that Isaiah Spiller could be the guy for them. I do. I think he's a good football player. I think he can do just enough in the passing game where you can leave him out there on third down. And let's face it, man, that quarterback on that team now is as much of a runner. He is. He's a tight end, man. And you do some read option things with him like an Isaiah Spiller with inside zones. Oh, my God, dude, that sounds scary. I'm a Dolphins fan. I don't want it to happen, but it would be a very, very good combination for them. So
no, I agree. I think that would be crazy. I think that would be crazy. That was my favorite fit that you said today. Isaiah Spiller with the Bills. Oof,
Yeah.
man, that's a fit right there. I love that. I really do.
Imagine Josh Allen just putting that ball out there and either giving it to him or tucking it and running himself, dude. And that's the thing about Isaiah Spiller. He'll actually do some blocking for you, and he's big enough where if you run behind him, he can move people for you if you need him to.
I agree. I love Isaiah Spiller. I mean, again, I think the fact that you're the most productive player on your team passing, actually, too.
Yeah.
Like, Texas A&M on third downs, if you didn't see Isaiah Spiller catching that ball, it probably wasn't a converted. Isaiah Spiller, especially on third downs, he was amazing with getting open, providing some time for his quarterback to get that first down and keeping the drives alive. I mean, he was very productive all year. I believe he got injured this year, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
He did miss a couple games, yes.
Yeah, and when he missed some games, you can tell the offense.
Also, Jerome, I think this is the one year where if you're a senior and you're going to come out, do you want to play through injury, man?
Nah.
I just don't. I love college football, but I think you see these guys every year. They start making more business decisions at the end of the season.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting more and more prevalent as we go on. So let's face it, man. These guys, they know that they come into the league, and if they're lucky, they're going to sign one more big contract. So sign that big contract, man. Hold out. I would have no problem with a running back holding out for as much money as he can, because running backs have 5 to 8 years, man, of real production to make money in. So, again, I would not want to be drafted in the first round.
No,
unless it's early in the first round. I don't want to be drafted in the first round. I don't.
I agree, Ray, for sure. All right, that's going to do it for us today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this podcast talking about running backs today. Ray, I know you was excited to talk about this because, your team needs these running backs, and there's a lot of good ones, and there's not a lot of teams that need some. So, that's gonna be open field for you guys, man. Y'all might even get one in lower second, high third, and still get a really good running back. So
if I could take Hassan from Michigan, because my owner's a Michigan guy, even though he's somewhat of a moron, but he is a Michigan guy, and a Damian Pearson later in the draft, that would be a nice mixture for me. I would do that.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
It would.
So that's going to do it for us, guys. Make sure you go on our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. You can find a lot of these players that we're interviewing. They're going to be on there. So make sure you go check that out on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. There you go. Also, make sure you follow us on the YouTube channel. We are live right now on our YouTube channel. Go in there, like, subscribe, hit that notification button so you know we go live. If you can't watch it live again, you can also comment on our YouTube channel. We will answer that as soon as we can. Also, make sure you go check out all our social medias, Inside the Hatches on Inside the Hatches at Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And make sure you go check out our website, InsideTheHatches.com. We found all our content. We're about to have a lot of draft content, so make sure you go in, check that out. It's going to be great. If you missed some of the Senior Bowl stuff, we have a lot of Senior Bowl interviews and pictures and photos and things like that from being down there. We did have a Senior Bowl special, so go make sure you check that out. That's also on our YouTube channel, so make sure you go check all that out. We got some great content coming up. We hope you guys enjoy. So I'm your humble host, Jerome Jones. This is Ray Roberts. Thank you guys so much for checking us out. I hope you have a great night. Stay safe, chillax. Understand that this is the time of football we love, because we're about to have the draft. We have to have free agency first, then the draft, and things are about to start warming up soon. So definitely go make sure you check that out. Before we get up, Ray, did you see the USFL League draft?
I did not.
We have some guys we interviewed. We have about 6 of them that went in the first round.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. So
I think that I did read something about the USFL is going to merge with the NFL. And
they're trying to do they're trying to do partnership.
You know what? That is perfect. I mean, I've been telling people forever, you can't compete with the NFL. It's a machine. No. You can't stop it anymore.
Nah.
So if you want to be like the G League or the whatever it is for basketball, if you want to do that and get in partnership with them, that is just going to make you more successful. Why not just do it?
I agree. It's gonna be fun. Hey guys, we got football. We're about to have football all year round. So keep it level inside the hashes because we're gonna be talking all football all year long as well. So again, thank you guys for being on. Hit that notification button, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well on our YouTube channels. Once again, thank you guys so much. Hope you have a great weekend. We see you again on Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern time. We try to be on time as much as possible. Sometimes it's not. You're a little late today. It's just a little bit, but we got here, and we hope you guys enjoy your time here again. So have a good one. See you next time, and stay safe. Enjoy your football.